Hey, ladies, welcome to Unpacking Mama's Bag, the podcast where we unzip the chaos, shake out the crumbs, laugh at the crazy, and pray through the rest. I'm your host, Akia Adams, just another mother out here trying to raise babies, hold down a marriage, chase my purpose, and not lose my mind in the school pickup line. This space right here is just for the mothers out there who are carrying it all, from diapers to doubt, lipstick, laundry list, and the silent prayers you don't even have the words for. We're going to talk about marriage, motherhood, meltdowns, and we're going to do it with honesty, some humor, and a whole lot of grace. So if you ever cried in the shower, or hid in the pantry with snacks, or said, Lord, help me at least 3 times before noon, then girl, you're in the right place. So grab yourself some tea or a glass of wine, and let's unpack this bag. We're going to heal and grow all together. Hey, everybody. Welcome again. This is Sakia for another episode of Unpacking Mama's Bag. And today I have with me Tara. Tara. Oh my goodness. Let's do that again. Tara, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. We're just going to cut that part out. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Sakia. Welcoming you once again to another episode of Unpacking Mama's Bag. And today I have with me Tara. Did I get okay?
You got it.
Hi. All right. All right. Got that one out the way. All right. So we're just gonna just jump right into it. Can you tell us about your mom journey and who is in your mama's bag?
I can. So I am I got a big mama's bag.
Oh,
Um
okay.
m- m- my own biological people, some extra people, some other extra people.
Oh.
So I have three kids
Mm-hmm.
who are all young adults now. One teenager left for a little bit longer, 19, 22, and 25.
Okay.
But 15 years ago, when they were all very tiny,
Mm-hmm.
my husband and I took in nieces as foster kids,
Oh,
and
okay.
they came to us out of a background of trauma and abuse. And
Mm.
so they came to us with a lot of mental health issues. So there were two of them that we had in our home for varying amounts of time, one of whom was adopted into another family after a year or so, and one of whom was in and out of our house and in still I'm her primary family person. And then they have an older sister who I'm also her primary family person because she lives with a traumatic brain injury. So I'm her legal guardian
Oh,
and will always be her legal guardian. And so my mama's back is pretty full. Yeah.
yes, I hear. Wow. So being as though that your bag is that full, has there ever been a moment where you felt like just walking away from it, just like, hey, this is too much for me?
No, no, I always felt like I totally had it under control, Sakia. Totally had it under control. No problems. Um, it's funny. I don't know that I ever felt like walking away. I
Hmm.
definitely felt like crawling under a bed and not coming out. I
Okay.
definitely felt like, who are we kidding here? I'm not prepared for this. I don't know what, because my husband and I felt like we were prepared. We had our
Mm.
three little kids. We hadn't really, I mean, our kids were 2, 5, and 7 when we took the
Hmm.
girls in. And we felt like had it figured out. We were awesome parents. Our parents were teachers. We knew exactly what was going on. And then we get these girls that have trauma and
Mm.
have a lot of mental health issues. And the older girl was 14 when she came to us. And
Hmm.
she ran away a lot. She made multiple attempts at self harm and suicide. And it
Oh,
became clear very, very quickly that we actually had absolutely no idea what we were doing. None.
wow.
And were completely unprepared for parenting a teenager. We're completely unprepared for parenting a child with mental health issues.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, there were a lot of moments where I was like, who made this decision?
Mm.
This is never going to work. They're
Wow.
never going to be okay. uh, yeah, it was rough. It was rough for a long time.
So, what would you say was the hardest thing that you had to survive in um, taking on the extended family?
Not knowing if she was going to survive,
Mm,
you know, there were years where she was intensely suicidal. And I don't
mm.
mean to jump right into that, but that's the answer to
No,
your
no,
question.
please go ahead. Jump right
Yeah,
into it.
that's the answer to your question.
Hmm.
And having to understand within myself, I need to love her. I need to love
Hmm.
her every day. I need to know that she knows she's loved, so that if in fact her mental health issues prove to be fatal, she would know she was loved. There were
Wow.
a lot of days where I felt like that might be best case scenario, that she knew she was loved.
Mm,
Now, she worked her booty off in therapy and getting help and trying to get better, and eventually started to kind of turn a corner where that wasn't a constant worry. But it was
mm,
years. And then those years took a toll on me. They took a
mm,
toll on my health. They took a toll on my nervous system. Um, and also, I had these other little kids I was still raising. And
mm-hmm,
so trying to balance, oh gosh, I have to go visit her in residential therapy, um, which was 2 hours away sometimes, versus I've got three kids on three different soccer teams,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
And they all got to get to practice, and they all apparently have to have dinner every single day. Every single day, they got to have the dinner and the
Yeah.
breakfast and the lunch and the
Wow.
snacks, you know?
That's a bonus.
Right, right. I tell you what, I wasn't. I was not the mom who remembered when she was supposed to bring snacks for the soccer team. I was not the mom who remembered all the things in my diaper bag because I never did. There were a lot of opportunities
Mm-hmm,
to practice grace for myself and realize, you know what, I maybe was never going to be that super on top of it mom who
mm-hmm.
knew where everything was and what time everything was. But now I'm definitely not going to be that mom, and that's going to have to be okay.
And it is, it's fine. And the mere fact that you realize that you are allowed grace is a something that it takes some of us moms years to even begin to scratch the surface of figuring it out.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how did you cope with the other children and their feelings in the midst of everything that was going on with her? You already said that you were having a hard time. How were you able to be there for the other kids and manage their feelings during this time?
You know, thankfully, they were
Hmm.
all still pretty young. I think it would have been very different had they been closer in age to her,
Hmm.
because they would have been more aware of what was going on.
Okay.
Um, but because they were all fairly young, as long as mom and dad were there, and I'm married, and my husband has been along for this whole journey with me,
Hmm.
um, as long as we were there, as long as we were paying attention to them, as long as we were trying to get in the basics like bedtime stories and lots of hugs and,
Hmm.
all of those things, um, that was the best we could do. I
Mm.
think my kids had some odd experiences growing up because their cousin did spend a significant amount of time in residential mental health treatment, which means
Mm.
that she lived somewhere else in a
Hmm.
facility where they were doing intensive therapy and intensive skills training, and so we would go visit her. And so my kids, when they were in their elementary years, we spent a lot of time taking hamburgers and milkshakes to visit their cousin,
Hmm.
and bringing dumb crafts and board games to play in awkward, unpleasant rooms.
Right, but still trying to keep it family.
but still trying to keep it family and give her a
Mm-hmm.
sense of being a part of us and give them a sense of her being a part of us. And I think the biggest lesson I hope that they learned from that was we show up for each other. This is what we do. We
That's
show
excellent.
up,
That's excellent.
right? Like that
Mm-hmm.
might not have been an experience that any of their friends had, and they definitely lost time with me as a mom. I mean, when you have a
Mm-hmm.
child with special needs, whatever those
Mm-hmm.
special needs are, it
Mm-hmm.
takes extra time. And as a mom, you worry like, are they going to be okay? Do they know how much of me they're not
Mm-hmm.
getting? Um,
Right.
and I had to trust and hope that the lessons they were learning in terms of showing up for family, in terms of showing up for people you love, and
Mm-hmm.
going the extra mile was going to make up for what they weren't getting from me in terms of extra time.
So, being so that you said that, they lost time with you, was there ever a time where you just broke down, was like totally overwhelmed? And if so, what did you do to kind of pull yourself out of that?
There were lots of times like that. um, I not in front of the little ones.
Mm-hmm.
I did a pretty good job of keeping it together in front of them, and luckily
Mm-hmm.
they went to bed early. So,
That's our
long.
saving grace a lot of times. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I had a very tight group of girlfriends, a small group,
Oh, okay.
small group slash Bible study slash, when a bunch of women get together, sometimes we actually just wind up talking more than doing what we're supposed to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that group of women has now been together in one form or another for over 20 years. And
Wow.
they walked me through this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I also belong to a church community, church family, and
Mm-hmm.
the pastors were super helpful in terms of being supportive. Thankfully, I go to a church that has um, really great theology when it comes to mental health issues, because I know
Mm-hmm.
not everybody is that lucky, and
Right.
sometimes the church screws that conversation up, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
um, but they understood, mental health is real, mental illness is real. This is something you got to treat and you got to take care of, and it's hard. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I had that support, and I think if there are any moms listening to this that don't have a good group of girlfriends, or at least a couple of good girlfriends,
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you to do that now before you need them.
Right.
And if that means getting awkward at your kid's school and asking a stranger to coffee,
Mm-hmm.
or, hey, you want to go for a walk after the kids have practice?
Mm-hmm.
Be awkward. Be awkward if you need to, because we need each other. We need that community, because parenting, even under the best of circumstances, is freaking hard.
Yeah, exactly. It's never easy. And I agree with you because I have my group of girlfriends, and right now I'm going through a situation with my husband being sick. And I tell you, if it wasn't for these ladies, I probably would have just been sitting somewhere doing it was just you especially as you get older, you understand more and more how good it is to have that support system. Oh, whether it's your girlfriends. But let me ask you this question. How supportive was your husband in all of this? And then were there times where you had to hold him up in the midst of all of this?
He's been tremendously supportive.
Hmm.
We have had very different roles.
Hmm.
He stayed home with whoever was at home at the time, and he
Hmm.
made sure people got dinner. If I wasn't home, he made sure people got to practice. If I
Hmm.
wasn't available, he kept the home situation from falling down while I was out with whoever needed whatever extra thing, right?
Hmm.
So when I was driving her to multiple appointments, my older niece, when I was driving her to multiple appointments every week, um, he was the one who stayed home with the kids. And thankfully, he worked from home at the time and in IT. And so he was able to do that. We definitely had some blessings that made this easier, right? Like, there are two of us. If you're trying to do this as a solo parent, that's hard, right? And
Hmm.
It just means you got to be that much more strategic and intentional about
Right.
finding a support system. Um, but he is very steady emotionally, right?
Even killed.
I am maybe not so much of that. And
Hmm.
so we're a good balance in that way.
Okay. So we gotta give husbands kudos because sometimes they come in the clutch and that for better or worse. This was one of them times where you needed him.
Oh,
So kudos
absolutely.
to him. Yes.
Now, remember when I was talking earlier about how I had to let some stuff go?
Hmm.
Um, does he clean things the way I want things cleaned? No, he does not. Does he even see things that need to be? No, he does not. Um, but we have been married now for 30 years, and there are just some hills you choose not to die on
Hmm.
because otherwise he would be dead.
Well, thank goodness he's not, and he's still holding strong.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he loved the kids, he took care of the
Hmm.
kids, he fed the kids.
Hmm.
Other stuff, we can look past that most of the time.
All right. So let me ask you this question. Knowing everything that you've gone through in your life and all of the steps that you had to take to be getting the blended family, the girls that you have now, they're your adult daughters, what is a lesson that you would tell them as they begin getting ready to go into their roles as an adults, as future parents coming up? What is one lesson that you would want to give them from everything that you've been through to kind of help them navigate this thing called life?
Yeah. Well, whether we're talking about my nieces or we're talking about my own daughter and two
All
sons,
of them, all of them,
um,
and all of them you
I,
raised.
yeah, I want them to know that it's how you show up for people that matters.
Hmm.
Um, that a lot of the things that, especially if you're a parent, a lot of the things that we worry about actually
Hmm.
aren't that important.
Hmm.
The milestones when they're little, like, oh no, she's got four teeth and mine only has one. No, no one cares. They're all going to have teeth at some point, right? Like,
They all
it's,
gonna fall out too.
yeah, and then they're all going to fall out. So, but just, I mean, that's a silly example, but just so
Hmm.
many of the things that we worry about, let your kids know that they're loved. Make sure
Hmm.
they know they can talk to you. Um, make sure that they know who else they can talk to. I I
Mm.
I think sometimes, there are things kids want to talk about that mom and dad aren't going to be the ones to talk to about it. And
Hmm.
so regularly talking to your kids about who else is in your life. Who can you talk to? Is it your coach? Is it your teachers? Is it your youth
Hmm.
group leader? Like, who is it? Um,
Finding that safe space.
yeah,
Yes.
making sure that they have people to talk to. I
Hmm.
think that's one thing I'd really want them to know.
Okay.
And that it's
That.
okay to reach out for help. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Why do we
Oh my
all feel
goodness.
like we have to do this by ourselves?
Because we're super
We
moms.
don't.
We're supposed to be able to do
Right.
everything. We
Yeah.
were naturally born with S on our chest that said, da da da, we can do it. Oh my goodness. But let me ask you this then. So outside of all of that and dealing with everything, what type of what did you do for self-care? Like what did you do for you?
Yeah. So making sure I had time with my girlfriends was one of those things. I'm an
Hmm.
extrovert and I get energy from being around other people, and
Okay.
that is really important to me. So,
Hmm.
and my husband is an introvert, so I can't get all of what I need from him in that respect,
Hmm.
because he needs to be alone. Thank you very much.
I
Um,
understand.
yeah. So, being with girlfriends, I've had to get real thoughtful about that. I made some rules, not rules for myself, but I made some decisions for myself
Hmm.
that there are things that I can't do without, and one of those things is sleep.
Mm.
Which, by the way,
Okay.
we all, so many people in this country, in this society, are like, no, no, I don't need much sleep. I can get by in 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Sleep isn't
Mm-mm.
that important. Look at me. Look how awesome I am because of hard labor sleep. There are about 2% of human bodies 2% that can get by in 3 or 4 hours of sleep. The rest of us need more than that.
I
And
haven't
we are
seen them.
lying
Yeah.
to ourselves. We're lying to ourselves and we're harming our own health. But I know that I needed 8 or 9 hours of sleep when life was really hard. And so I had to make some decisions. Like if my husband was working away, like a
Mm-hmm.
normal kind of job, because I work for myself,
Mm-hmm.
there were many years where my own kids, they got themselves up out the door and off to school while mom was
Mm-hmm.
still sleeping. And
Mm.
in my community of perfect suburban moms who all get up and pack the snacks that they cut up and they put in the little boxes and they make them look perfect and the thing
I still
that
haven't found them
wasn't
cookie cutters.
that wasn't a normal thing, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I needed to get sleep so that I
Mm-hmm.
could be a human being.
Right.
And and you know what? My kids figured out how to get themselves up and out the door in the morning, and they're okay.
See,
So
life lessons.
there are things that we think we have to do as moms. Like, well,
Mm-hmm.
everybody else is doing it this way. I have to do that. No, you
Mm-hmm.
don't. You got to figure out what works for you and your family. So, sleep was huge for me for self care.
Mm-hmm.
I try to go to the movies at least once a week. I am failing at that miserably right now. But theoretically, I try to go to the movies at least once a week. And I love to go to the movies by myself. I don't need a date. Um,
I love to
in
go eat by
fact,
myself. I don't need a date.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Movies, I might go to sleep.
I have had to accept that my body feels better when I move it once in a while, whatever. So I got a free treadmill from some people, and now I walk on the treadmill at night while I watch TV. Fine. I didn't want to accept that because who wants to have to exercise? But my body feels better. My brain feels
Mm-hmm.
better when I'm moving my body. So that's self care too. Um, the
Right.
more time I spend outside, the better I feel. Also sucking at that right now. But there's work to be done. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then honestly, I've taken this journey and turned it into my work, into my my career. And so I'm a professional speaker on mental health, and I've written a couple of books. And this doesn't work for everybody, but that feeds me. I
Mm.
love the work that I do, and I love the creativity behind it. I love taking the hard things I've been through and making other people's journeys a little easier and a little more straightforward. And that's
Mm.
self-care too. It's okay for our
Yes.
work to be self-care if if it's work that feeds us that way. And it's not
Right.
that not everybody gets to do that. Some of
Mm-hmm.
us just, sometimes you just got to do the work that pays the bills.
That is true.
But for me, that has been part of my self-care.
Oh, okay.
Also, large quantities of tea.
Hey, whatever
And
floats your
not
boat.
and not not cheap crappy tea. It's got to be good tea.
Good tea.
Yeah, because I'm not a coffee drinker, so
I'm not either. So I completely understand you there. So I got one little funny question for you, real quick. If your kids were to write a Yelp review about you, what would it say?
Oh
Wait a minute,
goodness.
your face is said a lot.
That that might be my favorite question anybody's ever asked me, Sakia. Um, it would probably say she's too loud.
Oh,
She's embarrassing. She's not as funny as she thinks she is, but she is funny.
oh,
Um, I hope it would say, "Boy, she loves us hard."
oh.
Uh, and she's she's kind of embarrassing. She talks about brain science too much. It would definitely say she talks about brain science too much.
Oh my goodness. Now that you would get like 5 stars with that one. I think that's a 5 star review. I think that's a 5 star review.
It
Yes.
better be.
It's a 5 star.
I
Five
will come
stars.
find them if it's not a 5 star review.
Ooh. Oh, you know what? Just wait until you become grandma. And then it's their turn
Mm,
to get a review.
okay, that's a good point.
All right. And then well, one last question before we wrap it up. You talked about writing your books on mental health. What would be one good motivation or words of wisdom that you would want to leave the women that are watching that could be struggling with mental health and maybe feeling empty inside or feeling like they're not enough at trying to be a mom right now? How would you encourage them?
I got two answers to that question. Am I allowed to?
Yes, go ahead. Feel free.
Okay.
By all means.
Answer number one is you are enough. You are enough because you are where you're supposed to be right now. And I believe that we were all created and given a purpose, and the life that we're living right now, we're going to see the people that we're supposed to love today. And we have what we need inside us to do that most of the time if we're taking care of ourselves. Um, we don't need anything other than that. That's who we've been created to be, is to love the people in our lives every day. And if your car started making a weird noise or something fell off of it and then it stopped running, you would take it to a freaking auto mechanic. Why do we think that we have to gut through mental health issues on our own? That's stupid. Go get help. Get a therapist, get some medication if that's what's needed. Do what you need to do to take care of your mental health, because it's mental health is physical health. Our brains are an organ in our body just like our elbows or our kidneys. And if there's something a little bit wonky going on, you go find an expert who can help you with that.
Mm,
And there's nothing selfish about that. There's nothing indulgent about that. That's just straightforward adulting. And we don't talk about that enough. And I get real passionate about that because I haven't shared a ton of what we went through with my nieces today, but I'm telling you, there were years and years and years of crisis after crisis after crisis. And it was not until 2 years ago that I finally went and got myself a therapist. Nobody ever suggested it to me.
mm,
And that is not okay. That is
right.
not okay. I think anybody that's got the opportunity to do that, that's struggling with depression or anxiety, or just, you know what, you don't even have to have a thing with a name. You don't need a diagnosis to go see a therapist. What you
Hmm.
need is a life that's a little too complicated for you to figure out on your own. So you need a third party person to walk you through, how am I looking at this? What am I missing? What other strategies could I try? That's so important. So, yeah, you are enough, but also you don't
Hmm.
have to feel like you have to do it by yourself.
Mm. Wow. So, that
Also, I'm pretty sure my 5-star Yelp review would say she's very bossy because you just got a little taste of that.
you know what? I don't even mind it because you're dropping jewels right now. So I just want to give you that. So if a person, do you have any suggestions on how a person would reach out to try to find someone to get mental health from?
Yeah, if they are lucky enough in this country to have health insurance, start
Mm-hmm.
with your health insurance company. A
Mm-hmm.
combination of your health insurance and a website like Psychology Today, and then
Okay.
you use that to kind of narrow down somebody who takes your insurance and somebody who's got openings for new patients.
Okay.
You ask your friends. I mean, if I needed a lawn person or I needed somebody to fix my toilet, I would ask my friends. Do you have a plumber
Mm-hmm.
you like? Do you have a lawn person, a tree guy? Um, we need to get in the habit of talking to our friends about, hey, do you have a good therapist?
Yeah.
There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. And so that's another way to do it, because finding somebody that somebody else liked, that's always a
Mhm.
plus, right?
That is definitely a plus.
If you don't have health insurance, there are places that will take sliding scale fees. There are, local colleges and universities that you may be able to get into. I would do that.
Okay. All right, Tara, I appreciate you. If anyone wanted to reach out to you, how would they get in touch with you?
So they can always just go to my website, which is my name, tararolstad.com.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody out there has got kids that are struggling with mental health, my book is called What to Do Right Now When Your Child is Suicidal. Your child doesn't need
Mm,
to be suicidal for you to read this book. just if they're struggling with mental health issues, and it's available in all the places you find books. So that's another place to go.
Okay. All right. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to another exciting and informational episode of Unpacking Mama Bag. So if you are out there and you are feeling stuff, in the words of Tara, please find a friend, ask a friend, get some help. Thank you,
Amen.
and we'll see you all again next time. All right, let me stop this recording.